We're going to make, Christy's going to make now strawberry kiwi Italian ice.
You want the formula?
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So we're going to talk about Italian ice. I love selling Italian ice. I love to put people into the Italian ice business because it's the least expensive business you can get into. You don't need a refrigerator to hold the dairy. You don't need a hardening cabinet. You don't need a lot of different stuff. You just take 3 ingredients: sugar, tap water, and your flavor, and you're in the Italian ice business. We're going to make the world's best Italian ice, and it's going to cost us about a penny an ounce. So a 4-ounce portion, about 4 to 6 cents, and we're going to sell it for $2.53, somewhere around there. Tremendous, tremendous profit margins.
Okay, so we're going to do strawberry kiwi Italian ice. We all know kiwis are very time-consuming to sit there and peel and dice and whatnot. So I had found some freeze-dried kiwis that I rehydrated with water, and I'm going to use some of that water as part of the 3.5 quarts that we need to make. So I'll just pass this around if you guys want to take a peek. So, and then there's another thing we're going to add, and it is a strawberry kiwi flavoring. This is made by Weber Flavors. They have almost every flavor that you can imagine. So this dark colored one is just their natural, or their normal, strawberry kiwi with the dyes and whatnot, which you would find in like your juices, your drinks. They also make an all natural strawberry kiwi flavoring. Now the benefit of using a flavoring is you only need a couple ounces. I haven't actually made this formula yet, so we're going to put in an ounce and then see if that tastes good enough, and then we'll put in another ounce if we have to. So this little bottle here can probably get you about 30, 40 batches. They also have big gallon jugs that you see over there. That could get you about 80-something batches per jug. So that's very, very cost effective. Not every flavor you make needs to have a flavoring, but there's certain flavors that you do that need help. Blueberries are very bland on their own, so that's when a blueberry flavoring or extract comes in handy when you need it, giving it a boost of flavoring for the strawberry and kiwi. Because kiwis, once, on their own, is also kind of bland, so we kind of want to give that extra kiwi flavor. So I went ahead and kind of pureed them a little bit so it'll look really great in Italian ice, and we're just going to dump the strawberries whole. Okay.
Why do you use frozen strawberries as opposed to fresh strawberries?
You want to go ahead?
Because strawberries are not always ripe in season. Jeff taught us this. He calls it supermarket shopping for flavors. And you just go up and down the aisles of the supermarket and you say, no, I don't think I'm going to make kale ice cream. I'll skip the pork chop ice cream. But when you get to the frozen section, the ice cream section of the supermarket, at the head of the section will be frozen fruit. This one came from Walmart, and it was packed at it was picked at the height of its freshness, put into the bag. There's no extra syrups, there's no stabilizers, no chemicals, just frozen fruit. And then we take it home, and tonight, if we're going to make the product tomorrow, we put it in the refrigerator, thaw it, ready to go. As fresh as the day it was picked.
What would happen if you tried to make that same flavor in January?
If you wanted to make it in January, then the strawberries are going to come from Peru, and they're going to taste like cardboard. And one thing in business is we want consistency. We want the strawberry ice cream to be just as good in January as it is in strawberry season down here in Florida in March. We want consistency across the year. And that's how you do it, is with the frozen strawberries, also known as IQF or instant quick frozen.
Now, it's probably more expensive to buy it that way, right?
Cost doesn't matter, because we're going to get a high price for it, and we're going to have lines down the street. If we're just worrying about costs, then we're going to have 10 customers.
So it's just better to go with frozen fruit?
Because of the consistency, yes.
The consistency.
Let Christy continue.
Oh, you're fine. So when you go to pour into your machine, you never want to rest the mouth of your container to the throat of the machine. Doing so, it's a very wide pour. Holding it up above like this, you can see it's got a skinny stream. So that way you're almost guaranteed to have no spills or splashes. Okie dokie. So as you saw, I pour the sugar in here first. You don't have to do that. It just makes it a lot easier for the sugar to go down into the machine, just enough to get it wet. Don't have to dissolve it. So we're going to go ahead and hit start. We're going to hit Italian ice and start. Now, we're not going to turn on the freeze yet because we got to see how much flavoring we got to put. Which I normally don't ever do this. So those that watch, you guys always know I got my formula ready to go and I hit start.
This is where I get to say Christy has an Emery Thompson at home and I don't. But then she's making great ice cream and I'm making people ill.
Yeah, mint chip ice and Sharknado.
You're never going to let me forget that, are you?
No.
How about your, what was it, the ice cream that's in the freezer? Ranch dressing ice cream?
That was on purpose though, but listen guys, that was on purpose.
Ranch dressing ice cream.
So we're going to use the all natural. It smells really good. Let's do an ounce and see. Strawberry kiwi. So we're going to let that spin just a little bit.
Strawberry kiwi.
Oh, that's good. We're good. We are good to go. So you could put on there that I put 1 ounce. So I'll let you guys pass these around. This is the one that's, you know, the normal kind you would find in your juices, and this is the all natural. And you can smell them if you want to. So I'm an ices kind of girl, especially working with booze, you know, adding alcohol to anything. So if I was going to add alcohol to this, I wouldn't add a vodka. It's kind of, there's no flavor to it. I would probably add like a pink champagne to this. This would be very good. It has that background taste to it that you're looking for. It pairs very well with the strawberry and very well with the kiwi. You could also make it a strawberry kiwi wine sorbet, and you can add, you know, like a very red sweet or a pink Moscato to it. You could do that as well. I absolutely would. So he asked, if you go from dairy to a non-dairy flavor, would you rinse the machine? Absolutely, because those that buy a dairy-free, if they specifically ask for a dairy-free, or if it's Italian ice, you can for sure say that it is a dairy-free product. It's not cross-contaminating, especially if you're working with nuts. Always save that for your very last flavor of the day. You want to take that machine apart, strip it down, so that way you're not cross-contaminating anything. If you're going from different flavors, from like Nutella to a chocolate to a coffee, you don't have to rinse in between. You can just keep going one after the other, especially if you're going from light to dark. So you can go vanilla, strawberry, chocolate in that order.
The nut allergies has become a really significant item because kids just aren't taking in the amount of dirt that we did when, you know, playing outside and everything else. They may not have dogs. They don't have the natural immunities that we do. So save your nut products for the end of the day. Make it your last run, and that makes it simple. Yes, back here. I'm sorry, can you speak up? Okay, the temperaturing on Italian ice is when it comes out of the machine, it's about 21 degrees. We want to serve it at 16 degrees. We also want to build up an inventory. We want to have it for the next week. So we're going to pull it out of here, put it into a chest freezer, put it into a flash freezer, and take it down super cold, rock hard. You couldn't scoop it with a hammer or chisel. And then the night before, Friday night, you say, oh, it's going to be a beautiful sunny weekend. I'm going to go through 4 tubs of strawberry kiwi. We take them out of the deep freeze and put them into our serving cabinet, which is usually up around plus 16 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has all night to warm up. If it looks like, well, it's going to rain on Saturday, but maybe nice on Sunday, we don't take out 4 tubs. We take out 2 tubs and wait and see what happens. But overnight, you can bring it up to the scooping temperature, which is plus 16 degrees. An easy way to reach that, I don't know if I have it here.
Yes.
Do I have time?
Yeah, you do.
The freezers that Jeff uses and we recommend when you're starting out are set to go from anywhere from 0 to 10 below. We can't scoop Italian ice at 10 below. So this is a device one of my customers told me about. Thousands of them have been sold because of us by Amazon. I call it, it's like putting up your Christmas lights on your front porch. You put up the Christmas lights, you take the plug for the Christmas lights and you plug it into a timer, and then you plug the timer into the wall. That way you set the timer for sunset and your Christmas lights go on. And then they turn off at, say, 2 in the morning when no one's around. We're doing something like that with this thing called Ink Bird. 2 words that mean nothing. Ink is in pen, bird is in tweet tweet. The Ink Bird is a thermostat. You're going to take your freezer cabinet and plug it into the Ink Bird, just like the Christmas lights. You're going to take the thermostat and just drop it in the box, and then plug the Ink Bird into the wall. Again, like the Christmas lights outdoors. The temperature of your box right now is 75 degrees, room temperature. It's heading down to -10. We don't want -10, we want +16. So once we set this all up, we set the Ink Bird for 16 degrees. The box starts to cool down, it gets to 40 to 30 to 20. When it hits 16, it just turns off the power. That's it. That's simple, it just shuts off the power. Box can't get any colder, no power. When the temperature rises up to 17, it turns the power back on. This is about $34 on Amazon. Don't buy a fancier one. Don't spend more money than $34, $38 because they're just more complicated. But this means that you can buy a cheap box. There's a little one back here that cost me $250. It'll hold 4 big tubs, and I can now control the temperature to sell Italian ice. So if you're not equipped to sell Italian ice right now because you're scooping ice cream at 6 plus 6, you can do it with this.
And not every single flavor is going to scoop at the same temperature. So your lemon Italian ice, it's kind of very low in sugar. It's just sugar, water, lemon juice. So that's going to scoop a little bit harder. So keeping that in the center, not so to the walls or your corners of your freezer, would be a better choice. So it'll scoop a better consistency. Flavors that are really high in sugar, like this one's going to be high in sugar. Orange Italian ice, which is literally orange juice and sugar, nothing else. It's very high sugar. Keep those in your coldest points because they need to be a little bit colder, so that way it doesn't turn into more of a slush consistency, which you'll start to see a separation. That's when a stabilizer comes in play. We don't like stabilizers. It's against Steve's and I religion. If you can try to do fresh and stay with fresh, that's always the better choice. But sometimes it's necessary because if you need it to last longer, 3 to 5 days, you want to wholesale it, you have to stock up for an event, that's when your stabilizer is a necessity. We're getting close.
Sir, you had a question before?
Cleaning process, like these machines.
I'm sorry?
The cleaning process, these machines, is it all internal automated or is it something more manual?
No, it's all very manual, very simple. Automation just costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars. We take a bucket of warm water and pour it in the machine, turn it on. Let it slosh around for 30 seconds, drain it out, take the parts out, and wash them in the sink or put them in the dishwasher. That's simple.
He's still talking.
This is what's running in the machine we're running right now. So all these parts just come apart. I have little springs on here just to hold it in place, but that's what it looks like. And this just 2 blades, 4 springs, all goes in the dishwasher and you're done. Or wash it in the sink. And it's that simple. You've heard horror stories about soft ice cream machines. All of them, every single one of them on the market is very complex. They take an hour to clean. We're talking under 5 minutes for a batch freezer. Anybody's batch freezer. We just do it better and stronger than anyone else. I mean, this is great. I mean, biceps, you got it perfect. Leg lifts, the whole works.
So to know when your product's done, we do what we call a cutoff check. So it's where you open and close it very quick and you cut it. You see how it's still kind of shot down in the pan? It's still a little soupy, obviously not ready. Every chef is different, so some people pull their product a little bit thinner than others. I like to pull mine on the slightly thinner side versus the very thick. Reason is, especially when you're working with ice cream, you're filling up your container, and if you pull it very thick, then you're going to have to knock it down, get the air pockets out, or use a spatula. If you pull it on the little bit of a thinner side, it's going to fold in your tub very nicely, and maybe a little tapping to none at all. So this is the very first batch that we're running. Your very first batch of the day is always going to take your longest because your machine was warm, there was nothing in it, it takes a while to get it cooler. So if I was to make strawberry kiwi Italian ice after this again, it'll probably shave about 2 or 3 minutes off my batch times. And then after that, probably I'll stay consistent in my batch times after that. So when you're making your notes and you're writing down your formula for your ice cream maker or yourself, you want to write your notes based most likely on your second batch versus your first. Because you don't want to start your second batch of the same flavor, walk away, and then now you've got overload on your machine because it's too thick because it froze faster than you had expected because your first batch was warm. So because it's high in sugar, it's also going to take longer to freeze. So that's science. The more sugar you add, the longer it's going to take to freeze. You can't get around it. If I was to make plain Jane vanilla, you're looking around 8-9 minutes. Probably depending on how much vanilla you put in it as well, because vanilla is an alcohol and it's very high in alcohol. If I was to make a chocolate like his Nutella, that's really high in sugar, so he's probably going to push around the 13-14 minute mark. Once you start adding Oreos to that chocolate, now you just added more sugar, so now you got probably about 30 more seconds to it. Once it gets to about this stage that you saw coming out, it's going to start freezing fairly quickly. So you might think it's going to take you 7-8 more minutes, but it's not. You see just a little bit, the difference it was in just a little bit of time, it didn't shoot out there. Now it's just kind of folding out there. It's a pretty color too.
I seem to remember at your Christmas party you said something to me about Steve, you're cut off. Was that what you meant? Is that why you sent Paul and me home?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Any questions about Italian ice? Yes. Say that again?
Where's the timer?
So there is a built-in timer on here on the screen itself, and it doesn't turn on until you hit this refrigeration button. So the machine's running, you're rinsing it, you're cleaning it, or we were playing with it, getting our formulas ready. Timer doesn't come on until you hit this button. But Steve, I see him anxious over here, is going to go get his favorite little old school timer.
Yeah, well, I used to tell people that you could go out and buy a Rolex watch for $40,000 because it's critical to your ice cream making. And then the IRS called me up and said, you know, $40,000, 40,000 customers, you owe us a lot of money. So this is a really cool one. It looks like an airplane. And if it's going to take, say, 10 minutes, you set it for 8 minutes. And then you can either leave it on the table and do other stuff. You can carry it in your pocket. And when it goes off, you go, oh, I've got 2 minutes to get back to the machine. If you freeze the machine up, it's no big deal. You just open the door, take out the ice cream, and start over.
And then us moms, we have internal clocks. We all know what that is. So we know 10 minutes is in 10 minutes, and we book it back to the machine. After you start working with your machine too, you start to hear it, how it's starting to change. You can hear the compressor start to change and the product getting thicker in there. So you'll start to get in tune with your equipment once you have it. So we'll check it again.
Yes. Okay, good question. If you're selling Italian ice wholesale and you're also making ice cream, do you need a separate temperature? No. We're going to take everything down as cold as we humanly can. When they make Haagen-Dazs, and I put them in business in 1972 and Ben & Jerry in 74, they have a tunnel that the pints go spiraling through the tunnel. It's at 140 below zero, but it's only in there for 10 minutes. We're going to put it at minus 15, minus 25 on that one, and we're going to keep it in there for 6 to 8 hours, or we can leave it in there for 2 months.
I think we're ready, so let's do a little cutoff check. I'm going to call that good. There's nothing dripping down. It cut off pretty clean. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my refrigeration. Even if you think you still might need 30 more seconds or so left to freeze it, just go ahead and shut it off. You can still hear the compressors running. It is ridiculously cold in there, so it's still going to freeze it for quite a while. It smells so good.
Is anybody else not able to get that vision out of their mind of Steve doing tweet tweet?
No comment.
I was laughing.
So when you sell this in your store, you can advertise it is made with all fresh, real, all natural ingredients. We used an all natural strawberry kiwi flavoring. We used real strawberries. We used real kiwis and real sugar. I'm just going to go ahead and stop that and just leave my gate open and let that come out.